with respect to any particular issue or problem. The opinions expressed on The Eric Dick Show are that of the hosts and guests and do not reflect the opinions of this station or iHeartMedia.
Big problem. Eric Dick, homeowner insurance, County Department of Education.
Back again of the Eric Dick Show for your weekend adventure here on KPRC AM 950. If you just get bored, you can call in 713-212-5950. I've got some really great guests with me. My little team is with me, Phil Paul Bryant and Chris Carmona. And we are going to be having a great day here at the studio. Philip, what's been going on this week?
Man, not a whole lot. First, want to just kind of make sure that we keep in our prayers. Looks like the families on the East Coast, looks like Florida and up and around that area, they're going to get hit with some storms. Yeah, it looks like it's a Cat 4 hurricane coming their way. So you just need to make sure that all the listeners that have friends and families out there in Florida, tell them to be safe out there.
Yeah, it could be a dangerous time. I know we got our fill 2 years ago
with Harvey. Yeah.
Almost to the day. 2 years ago on the 27th, we had Harvey, and it just rocked our world. You know, a lot of us have been struggling ever since. I know I've represented a lot of people, a whole lot of people, with denied insurance claims with my law firm, Dick Law Firm. You can always call me at 833-7-RIGHTS. That's 833-7-RIGHTS. Never too early for a plug, boys.
Know your rights. And know if you've been denied your insurance claim. Call Houston's homeowners insurance attorney, the Dick Law Firm. Call Eric Dick at 1-833-7-RIGHTS.
Chris, why do you sound like one of those car salesman commercial people?
Hey, man, when you say infomercial, you say plug. It's time to turn on that. Get a picture, man.
I forgot. So there's a new law that we didn't go over last time since we're talking about.
Is this the driver's license law?
No, I wish it was a driver's license law.
We talked about the point system last time.
No, they're getting rid of the surcharges on Monday.
We talked about that last. Oh, you weren't here last time. Dick,
I was here in spirit. I was on my way.
He called in.
He did call in.
Listen, I was on time today. Ask me how I got on here on time today.
Because there was no traffic.
No, I followed a funeral procession.
Oh,
okay. Wait, where's the signal?
Give him a boo on that one, man.
Okay, let's give him a boo.
This guy's horrible. Takes advantage of a dead man's funeral.
I was.
Did you put your hazard lights on?
I put my hazard lights on.
And then at the last second you exited out.
Yeah, I gotta go.
And then you probably have people follow behind you.
I can't put up with this no more.
So you have people actually follow you out of line.
I was too hurt. I had to go ahead and come to the station.
How many people followed you out of line and now are lost to the procession?
I don't know.
Because they thought you were going to the right place.
Oh, they start.
I have rights. I'm not saying nothing. I have rights.
Was there? Hey, that's a good response.
No, it's right.
That's a good. Not saying nothing. I got rights. That's a pretty good line. Hey, that's a good. I have to admit. I was wondering how many people followed him, but then he answered. That's the right. You started getting in trouble. He just got rights, not saying nothing.
Folks, if you got lost on your way to a funeral today, we apologize. It's probably because of Philip Paul Bryant and his.
We don't want to hear about it. Don't call it.
So, Dick, what's this new law we forgot to talk about last week?
Okay, so apparently that the state is so worried about lawyer commercials that you have to say paid legal advertisement. Paid legal advertisement before you do any type of. Everyone's going to start seeing that on TV.
Really?
Starting on the 1st tomorrow. Every legal ad has to say paid legal advertisement before it starts.
Oh. Before it starts?
Before it starts.
It can't be in a real small print, like a ticker at the bottom of it?
It actually has to be in the same print as the website or the call number.
Wow. Hold on, let's try this again. Paid legal advertisement. If you're hurt by the insurance companies and they're not paying your claim,
there you go.
Call the Dick Law Firm. Houston's homeowners insurance attorney.
You got to say it in the same tone, the same pitch.
Hold on, does it have to be in the same tone?
It doesn't have to be the same.
Not yet. Interrupted my infomercial.
Not yet. Give the state, because what I was going to say is the only thing the state wants to warn you about is hire an attorney. They don't care if you drink dirty water. They don't care. They don't care anything else.
Is that if you hire an attorney, reference?
No, it's just the special interest in Texas reference that a little bit of a. I mean, you got fracking, and there's issues with fracking in different parts of the state.
There is
but
issues with that.
I don't think it's so much anymore because the oil industry has been struggling, and that's just a completely different issue.
But they're starting to treat, I guess, lawyer advertisements that they do these medications and pharmaceuticals on TV, because with all these suits against pharma companies, they're having to put all those disclosures through the commercial, at the beginning of the commercial, at the end of the commercial. May cause bodily, flesh-eating bacteria, may kill you. So, I mean, that's how they're gonna.
Who pushed this bill? Who is this?
I wasn't sure who pushed, but probably Texans for lawsuit reform. That's let's just be honest. They don't like lawyers.
They don't like plaintiff attorneys
because they don't like being honest. They don't want to have to pay what they owe. I mean, that's why you have special interests like Dick Weekly just bribing people.
I think TLR is a great organization to make sure they're protecting the consumers in the long run.
That sounds like a campaign speech over there.
The consumers, no, it's not even helping the consumers. It's not helping them even in the short run.
That sounds like a campaign speech. What kind of shirt is it you're wearing, by the way?
Hey, man, it's the throwback, man. 5 years ago today.
5 years ago today. What happened 5 years ago today?
Actually, 5 years ago. Actually, 10 years ago today. I had the birth of my second daughter. Happy birthday, Madison!
Happy birthday, Maddie!
Happy birthday, Maddie!
Yeah,
Remind me to sing happy birthday to her before the show's over.
Yeah, make sure you do, man. We just got back from Canditopia, and if you haven't been to Canditopia, you're missing out because it's like a Willy Wonka funhouse.
Willy Wonka?
It really is like a Willy Wonka funhouse. There's no joke about that.
It's fun in there, man. And they see, I wasn't expecting candy. I'm not a big candy person. But I felt like I was a Halloween trick or treat because I kept grabbing handfuls and handfuls. Actually, I was only taking when it said one, we took one.
Oh, sure you were.
If it said take a few, we take a few, and then take a few again.
Mm-hmm. And then take a few
But
again.
there were people that had like clear bags. And I was like, wait, did they hand out bags at the front? They're like, oh no, we were told, by other people who've been here before, bring bags so you can stock up.
What kind of candy is this?
It's all kinds of different ones.
And to be fair, it's not super cheap to go in. So, and you're you're paying for it.
You're pretty pricey to get in there, but. I mean, this lady walked out with like 3 or 4 plastic bags of this candy.
Did you have a private tour person like Eric does when he goes to these parks? Did you
no.
hire a private person?
They have one person at the very beginning. I don't have a private person. Come on, I bring my wife if you want to say a private
don't you
person.
Have like a private person, VIP access, so they drive you through the park in like an SUV.
But there is a cheat though. For most people at Candytopia. Everybody thinks that you go online, you go through the website to schedule it. But if you show up right before they open for each time, they might let you in depending on how busy they are. So you can sneak in. You got to pay for it, of course.
Is that what you did with your daughters?
That's exactly what I did. We walked.
No, you
walked.
Did not.
We walked.
Where did you find this out from?
We've gone a few times. You just walk by it. We'll go to something over in the Edwards Cinema, go see a movie, what have you, and we'll walk by it. And if people are lining up, we'll go, hey, you got any extra room? And every single time I've gone, they've said yes.
Yeah, and they said you could do that, but on her birthday,
this before?
Yeah, but on her birthday, I wasn't gonna take that chance. And I was like, that'd be sad. I was like, no room for you. And she's over there in her little dress, her tiara, and her princess sash, her birthday sash. So I went ahead and booked the tickets last weekend to make sure that she was good to go.
Well, you were a good dad today.
Yes.
Sometimes. So Candytopia, it's really kind of an interesting place. And we're going to talk more.
Where is it at?
Oh, it's
in the district.
We're going to talk more about that in just a few. We're going to take a little break. We're going to take a little break if we can. Take a little break. You can go to our website, Dick Law Firm. You can go, on our social media at Dick Law Firm, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We'll be right back.
You get like 9 hot dogs in your mouth at once.
here for your weekly adventure on the Eric Dick Show. As always, you can call in 713-212-5950. That's 713-212-5950. We're live here at the studio at KPRC AM 950. Where we last left off, we were talking about Candytopia over at the Edwards Cinema. And I'm going to tell you that is a fun place to go to. I've taken my 2 daughters there. Chris has taken his 2 daughters there, and it was just a complete blast.
I don't have 2 daughters.
That you allegedly know of. There's some allegations. There are some
and
allegations.
I didn't even say it this time.
There are some allegations.
Are you my attorney still or what? This is getting confusing. Putting it out there, huh?
No, you're right.
Chris, you're laughing way too hard over there. Where's the boo when you need it? Where's the boo?
Oh, man.
I guess that is a boo.
That was kind of funny. Usually I would say something like that.
I know.
But Dick came through with the burn on that one.
Oh, that was.
Good job, Dick.
Well, I had to keep it lively here at the studio. I wanted to make sure everybody was listening. Okay, so Candytopia. I liked it a lot. I brought my kids there. If you do go, bring a bag. That's a good idea to bring a bag.
Yeah, bring that bag, man. This lady had that bag and was filling up, and I was like, wow, I wish somebody would have told us that before. So take a bag, a clear plastic bag, and fill up all you can.
Now, there's the marshmallow room, and that's what a lot of people are into. They like that. I kind of think it's a little dirty, but it's a big marshmallow pit where you go in, jump in, what have you. What I really like there is they have the best candy. They have these suckers that are dipped in caramel, and they're just really good.
Oh, yeah. The green apple caramel, at the end.
Yeah,
That's in the marshmallow. That is the marshmallow room.
Yeah, because the whole time when I don't like getting in that pit because it's really dirty. Sorry,
man. I'll tell you what.
Kids go in.
Yeah, and they throw the balls at you all over the place, the little marshmallows, and there's some that were kind of slobbery, and it was fun.
We got a caller, George. We got a caller,
George.
George.
Good afternoon.
Hey, George, how are you?
Hey, I'm living the dream. How are y'all?
We're just cutting up here on the radio.
Sounds like fun, man. Sounds like a lot of fun. Better than working outside in the heat, that's for sure. That's what I'm
Yeah.
It's the summer. So tell us about this viable way to receive a law license to practice law.
Yeah, well, I work in a chemical plant, and my schedule really inhibits me to do any type of extracurricular on a normal schedule with a college. And I was reading some old stuff about the founding fathers and how a lot of them, back then when there wasn't too many colleges, they received their licenses to practice law, or their certificates through apprenticeship. And then I Googled how apprenticeship is still legal in practice. And I didn't know if that's something that's viable or realistic nowadays in the state of Texas.
Sure. So
that's the Kim Kardashian method. She said she wanted to be like Abe Lincoln because that's how Abe Lincoln became a licensed lawyer, and Kim Kardashian said she's going to be like Abe Lincoln.
And that would have worked before the ABA, and so that will not work. You cannot be a licensed attorney in the state of Texas by doing an apprenticeship. You can take night courses. I think South Texas College of Law does have night courses.
U of H Law School has a night program as well.
I don't think they do for the law school. You think for the law school? I don't know.
It's like a 3-year program.
Is it 3? Well, all law schools a 3-year program, I believe. I think South Texas College of Law has a night program.
They do. I was in there when I went to law school.
And other than that, I mean, that you don't have a whole lot of choices. If you want to be a lawyer, and you're gonna have to find a way to push through, and you're probably gonna have to do it on the nights and weekends.
So it's not a county requirement; it's a state requirement.
It is a state requirement. That whatever school you go to is an ABA licensed law school, and the only ABA licensed law schools are that's all the credible ones are ABA licensed law schools.
And there's a lot of groups out there or companies that try to sell you on online law school.
There's no such thing as an ABA online law school.
Like there's there's one out of California. I think it was called Concordia or something like that.
Yeah, but that's not you can't practice.
And there's one in
Texas.
Dallas too. I forgot the name of that one. But those two, they try to sell you on saying that they're ABA acceptable. That's not. It's going to be up to each institution each state to see if they're going to recognize that law school and let you sit for the bar. So be careful of those things.
Now here's a nuance. Here's an interesting nuance is that if you go to a school that's non-ABA, and you do get licensed in another state, you can actually, I believe you can practice the narrow area of federal law. I think you can do that. I think you could practice like bankruptcy law. If you were licensed in one state, but you didn't get a state that lets you be licensed with a non-ABA, college. So that's the only way you'd be able to practice in Texas with a non-ABA is if you're doing a narrow area of like federal law, like bankruptcy law, because it's a different type of license. But that I believe you can do that.
Didn't Texas let you take the bar if you're a licensed attorney in a different state?
Sure, but there's certain qualifications for you to be able to transfer through. And if one of them isn't, you went to an ABA school. If it's a non-ABA, they already got through that loophole. Thank you so much for calling in, George. You have a wonderful day, okay?
You too, guys. Y'all be safe.
Thank you.
Thanks, George.
Yeah, so that's kind of the scam there that they got with law school, which is very, very expensive too. By the way, it's not a cheap enterprise.
It's not, and so but I'm glad he actually caught it because there's a lot of people who saw Kim Kardashian say she's not going to go to law school, but she's going to become a lawyer. And even before her, there's a lot of other marketing companies who would also advertise, become a lawyer, get your JD, but they don't tell you that you will not be able to practice because they're not going to be sanctioned by the American Bar Association or by most jurisdictions across the country. And so it's not a scam, but you don't get the education that you need to be able to be a practicing attorney. So it's a good question. I'm glad George called in about that. So
yeah, practice law is an interesting enterprise, but you have to go to an ABA approved law school if you want to sit for the State Bar of Texas, which you only have 5 chances, oddly enough, to pass. If you
5,
fail,
that's it.
Yeah, that's it. There's one.
That's actually kind of a lot when I think about it. Why would you want to take the bar 5 times?
Well, because you spent $120,000 to go through law school and you couldn't pass it. So I'd want to take as many times as it took.
When you say it like that, that actually makes too much sense.
I have a problem with only being 5 times. If you spent $120,000 going to law school, you should at least be able to take as many times as you want.
Now, if you don't pass it on the 5th time, do you have a valid cause of action against your law school?
No, you don't.
Why? Aren't they supposed to filter the people who can't pass the bar out in the first semester, I believe?
Oh.
They're supposed to have a certain bar that's met, and if you don't pass that bar, if you don't pass that threshold, they're supposed to release you because you are, I guess, predispositioned not to be able to pass the bar upon graduation.
No.
Speaking of passing the bar, Sylvester Turner's.
Oh, Phil Paul's? You have a new bar coming up?
Phil Paul's
bar?
Yeah.
Not yet. Sylvester Turner, who passed Harvard Law School, has some new issues in this 2019 mayoral election.
New
cycle.
issues? There's more.
More issues.
What are they?
Demetria Smith.
She's rapping. She's been rapping lately. I thought she did a good job just laying it out, freestyling.
What? I didn't see this. What happened?
It's all over Facebook.
A new video, out of her rapping on air.
No. So what happened what did she do with Turner?
She's breaking it down.
She's breaking it down, man. She's I'm curious as what you guys think would happen. Does her attacking LGBT and gay issues and making statements like we've had 2 gay mayors consecutively, we need a straight person to get Houston straight. Does that type of stuff really rally the LGBT community more, or does it kind of just give us good entertainment?
Oh, hey man, as Taylor said, Shade never made anybody less gay. Uh-oh. No, I mean, I don't know, man. It's like...
Who is Taylor?
Yeah, Taylor Swift, man. Come on.
Oh, okay.
How y'all know who Taylor is? In my opinion, does it rally people up more than they need to be? I don't think that will because of where it's coming from.
Does it make
If it was coming from a more viable candidate, I think it may. I think on the opposite side, though, it may rally people who are anti-LGBT and say, hey, that's true. There's not enough of emphasis on this. Why didn't anybody tell us, man?
Is there such
gay?
thing as anti-LGBT? Is that really a thing?
Have you
or is it just regular people who don't believe in what they're trying to do?
It depends on who you're asking.
Yeah, that's a fair question.
It's the difference between being anti something or just, hey, I just believe in what the Bible says.
That's a fair question. That is a fair question. I think, like Dick said, I think there can be both. I think you have a set of people who actually are anti. I mean, if you have that lifestyle, they believe you are the devil incarnate and you need to be burned and the evilness brushed out of your soul. But there's other people that just
I think they have schools for that.
Are indifferent about it, and so they're not really pro advocating for a certain segment, but they're just not. They're mad to it. So I guess that is a fair question.
So you're saying you don't think that Demetrius Smith's statements make people who may not necessarily be LGBTQ. Is there any new initials this year? No? Okay. So you don't think anybody who...
I didn't get my consultant check this month from any candidate to make an opinion on that one.
Right. So
Me neither, so I'm okay.
So you think that people who may not necessarily be LGBTQ, but may say, hey, may empathize with them, hey, people should be discriminated against, you think that those people are more likely to be supportive based on this type of rhetoric?
I think when you compare Turner and Parker, and I don't know that Turner has ever come out and say he's gay, but I know there's always been innuendo and there's always been a suggestion that he is, and there's always been.
I thought Bill what was it?
King said he was.
No, not Bill King. What was the mayor? Bob Lanier. I thought Bob Lanier actually came out with evidence that he was living with a man.
I thought they came out with evidence about stealing life insurance
from his living partner or something.
Yeah,
but he's never. I don't know if he's ever come out and say, "Hey,
man, come on, black men don't have living partners."
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, I don't even know what I'm trying to say anymore, man.
Well, we're gonna talk more about black men and their living partners,
No, they don't have those.
whether they exist or not. In just a few, we're going to take a break here. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Dick Lawford. You can go to my website, dicklawford.com. We'll be right back.
Is that Bon Jovi?
Oh,
Bon Jovi?
it's not Bon Jovi.
Beethoven or Bon Jovi? I don't know what you
Bon
said.
Jovi.
No, man, that's
No.
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Man.
No.
Why is your first choice always Tom Petty?
No, okay, we're back. We're back. Not enough. Okay. So what we're talking about?
We're
Local
talking about Tom
politics.
Petty.
No, we're talking about Parker Turner and Turner's live-in man. Okay, so what I was saying, because the question you asked was, is this going to rally any type of segment, the anti or the pro or the neutral?
They're not necessarily LGBT. They're not gay, but they may have a cousin who's curious, or they may have a neighbor that dresses weird.
I'm about to forget it again, man. Hold on, let me.
Chris, what's up with your memory?
I don't know, man. Long day. What I was saying,
it's 2:00.
Cantopia, man. We even did snooze for breakfast this morning in the district. So over there in the Heights. Come on, man. Snooze breakfast is good in the district. The one in the district. All right, good.
Yeah, right off of Shepherd.
No, Shepherd. Yeah, between Shepherd and I think it's 18th, 17th.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was saying is that when Parker was in office, I think you saw more of a blatant policy push for the pro, or I guess you can consider it a pro LGBTQ agenda. Okay, I think an argument could be made for that.
Okay.
With Turner, I don't think there has been a pro LGBTQ agenda, or one that can be perceived.
Really?
Not, blatantly. Like I think Parker was more blatant. And blatant may be too much of a powerful word.
You mean?
But I mean, it was more transparent. Yeah, it was
they're
more
promoted as an LGBTQ.
Yeah, it was more transparent that it was. This is what her personal. And she came out and said,
going around talking about Hero 2.0 for the last
he's been
2 months.
to small groups. He hasn't come out and made an edict.
So that makes it blatant, or it doesn't make it blatant?
No, because Parker would have actually had the stones to get up on City Hall and said, "Hey, we're gonna do this today under my watch. We will have equality for my community because it's personal to me." She actually said something similar to that.
So you're saying that Turner, the policies are the same, it's just how they packaging it?
I would think Parker was more aggressive with it. And so I don't know if Demetria Smith.
I just think that Turner in his first 90 days of office decided that he was going to have a LGBTQ advisory board. That has never been done in the history of the city. Other mayors.
So what y'all talk about on that board?
I've never been on the board. I'm not LGBTQ.
Oh.
What kind of question is that?
No, I thought like you were like, because
he created an LGBTQ advisory board. Other mayors created a ministerial advisory board.
So did he get rid of that one?
Parker got rid of the ministerial advisory board, which I won't say she got rid of it.
Well, phased it out.
Phased it out. Instead of Turner phasing it back in, he goes a totally different direction and creates an LGBTQ advisory board. Now, if he wants the LGBTQ to advise him on policy positions and stuff like that, that's his business. But you can't come on the show today and say, hey, Turner's not aggressive with LGBTQ policies. He has a whole advisory board that's advising him.
Okay, and that's fair. But does he market or advertise that as much as Parker did?
Well,
and again, this is just my perception.
Right. Well, I think the difference with Parker, because Parker was a city council person. She wasn't an LGBTQ city council person. She was a city controller. She wasn't an LGBTQ controller. She ran as a mayor, and a lot of religious groups and black supporters, African American people, said, hey, we think she's qualified to be a good mayor. She got elected based on her record and based on the idea that she's just going to be a good mayor. The night she got elected, and I actually went to the event. Don't tell anyone I said it.
Oh.
I actually went to the event at the Georgia Brown, her campaign party. And on that stage, she says, I'm going to be the mayor for all transgender and transsexual. I was like, whoa, wait, what?
So again, that's more before. Blatant, right?
But my point is,
did Turner say that at his elections, his watch party?
Well, that's my point. I think after she became mayor, she became this symbol or this newfound poster child for LGBTQ. But as far as their policies are concerned, I think their policies are exactly the same. It's just one person who didn't run on it decided to become the poster child.
But
for
see,
LGBTQ.
here's where I have to disagree that they're the same.
And the sadder part is that one of them, based on Demetria Smith and based on Bob Lanier, one of them, they're
Is
or
ashamed.
both gay, right? One of them who doesn't come out for the rallies. He goes to the rallies, but he doesn't come out like that one rapper did. And
Who, Lil Nas X?
Yeah, the Nas
Yeah.
X. Which is really, really weird. But but one mayor is proud to be, and if you're going to be gay, you might as well be proud to be gay.
If you're
Why
gay,
not be-
you're
why not be
Hey,
proud
like
about it?
Taylor said, man, shade never made anybody less gay.
I'm
So
not sure what that means. What does that mean?
you know what that means? It means like when you throw shade at somebody, or if you make fun of people or you attack somebody for being gay, that's not going to change them being less gay. That's what that
Okay.
means. That's what when she says that. No, but okay. So go back to Parker though. If Turner and Parker are the same, or you think Parker or Turner is more aggressive, why hasn't Turner in his 4 years? Oh come on, Dick! Yeah, give that man a boot for that.
no.
God, good Lord!
Is that your way of changing the conversation?
That's how you change the conversation. You spray a little Topo Chico on people.
Dick, come on. Dick over here
Okay.
spraying everywhere.
Well, you know,
Oh.
you look, you're
Electronics.
running hot. You're running hot. I thought I'd get.
Turner's first 4 years, of course he's not going to do he's done stuff, but of course he's not going to have some heavy LGBT agenda push.
Dude, you know where I heard that
because he
from?
wants 4 more years. But in his last 4 years, he's never going to try to run for office again. He's never else going to do anything
He's
political
gonna
wise.
He's gonna try to run for office again.
For
That's,
what? He's going to go back to state rep?
no,
Why
they
not?
didn't figure out something
Hey,
else.
hold
Maybe
on, we
state
don't-
But my
senator.
point
that
is,
sounds like
your
though-
last 4 years or your last term in office, that's when you do your crazy stuff. Everybody knows that.
I've heard that from somebody before who was also another elected Democrat and made a lot of promises to people. His name was Barack Obama when it came to immigration. First 4 years, never kept telling people, I can't do it, I need to get work for my re-election. His last 4 years, he's supposed to put together a comprehensive package that is going to get passed because he was going to deal with immigration because he keeps getting kicked down the can.
Right.
Or kick the
So
can down
he
the road.
could have just did some executive
And so
orders,
he-
and of course,
Well, he didn't do anything. But I'm saying he
by the
didn't.
way,
There
he
was no.
didn't-
There was no
Yes,
passage.
he did do some executive orders on immigration.
I didn't say executive orders. I said actual
he can't.
legislation.
He doesn't have a vote in Congress. His
my
vice president has one vote,
Hey,
which
man.
acts as a tiebreaker.
let's
So
keep,
same thing- same thing with
keep-
Turner, though.
Let's
That's
keep
what I'm
moving
saying.
on. Let's keep moving on.
When people say I'm not going to do anything my first term
comparing
because I'm
apples
going
to
to.
oranges. You're comparing apples to
No,
oranges.
no, it's the whole thing
proper
where
other
people
apple
say-
to compare it to would be, hey, the last pro LGBT or LGBT mayor in her first 2 terms did nothing regarding LGBT policy, social policy. Her last term, her last time running for office, that's when she brought in Hero and all the other stuff.
So you're saying that?
So I'm saying,
What are you saying?
Turner in his first term, he's only has 2 terms. In his first term, he hit it towards stuff. He created advisory boards. He did other stuff that were pro-LGBT.
Okay.
In his last term, he's already been talking about it on the campaign trail. You already confirmed. He's mentioning Hero 2.0.
No, you confirmed that. I didn't.
You confirmed
I haven't
it.
seen the guy.
I said he's
I
been
haven't
talking
been to
about
his rally.
LGBT. Play back the tape. I said he's been talking about LGBT. I said he's been talking about Hero 2.0.
Yeah.
You said, and we can read the transcript. You said he's only doing that in small groups.
Yes.
So you confirmed it.
No, I'm saying I haven't heard it in a major group, so it must be in small groups.
So there's another topic that's been pretty hot all over social media is polling, having polling places in the jails. The county commissioner court is pushing for that. I'm kind of curious to see
Terrible
what people think.
segue.
I'm just trying to
Are you
change
insinuating that
the
somebody's
topic.
going to end up in jail for doing this murals.
You may do a better segue, Chris?
Go
Is that not very good? I was just trying to change the topic. Y'all wouldn't stop. Y'all wouldn't stop.
I just want-
Chris is over there trying to backtrack on some stuff he said.
what I'm trying to say was
Oh, come on.
that I think that's a chicken
Okay.
way to opt to govern
Okay.
is saying I'm always going to do it my second term or my last term instead of coming from the forefront in your first term and getting things done.
No, they want to get more. They want
They
to
get
years in
reelected.
office.
Everything's
Yeah.
just to get reelected,
Of
not
course.
to serve the people. So, but hold on, we all agree.
We're talking about getting reelected. Maybe one way that the county's trying to get more
There you
votes
go.
is
Yes.
by having polling
Better
places
segue.
in the
Give that man a
jails.
round of applause
Segue.
because that was a good segue.
There, you bet. You happier? You happier? Okay. So I'm wondering.
You've only been doing the show a year, by the way.
I know. I know. So anyway, what do y'all think about the polling places being allowed in the jail system? Is it a good
Are you
idea?
talking about the Harris County jail, or not the prison?
Harris County jail, or just any jail system?
I think it's if it's done properly, I think it's okay. I'm not opposed to it like some people would be or would assume you would be. But again, that's why I put the caveat if done properly, because there's a lot of people in our Harris County jail who are not just in there as a holding facility until their trial. There's a lot of people who are serving sentences who elected to be housed, or they were able to make an election under the penal code to serve their sentence in a county jail as opposed to the state jail. So why I say that, because there's some rights that you don't have as a felon who has some impediments, or as where you're serving your time.
Or you can also be serving time for a misdemeanor.
And so if they're able to actually filter that out into where only the qualified people who are eligible to vote are voting, then yeah, I do agree that is a constitutional right. But again, it comes down to the management, and I think we've seen over the past few years the Harris County jail system isn't the most efficient. So I think that would be. I think I saw that Dr. Troutman was actually even concerned about it. Like, we could try, we can do the study, and she's like, "Don't do it this year. We can start the study this year, but it's way too unorganized to try to put it in effect this year." And you saw Rodney and Adrian pushing for, "No, we want it this year." Right now.
Well, we're going to go back more into should you be able to vote in
Because we got like
jail
30
system?
city council members in B vying to be the city council person with felonies.
Well, we're going to talk more about that just in a few. This is the Eric Dick Show. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Dick Law Firm. Also go to our website, dicklawfirm.com. last left off, we were talking about being able to vote in the jail system. Good idea, bad idea, interesting idea. What do you think,
I
Philip?
think it's a good idea. You have to allow people to express their voice. As people are allowed into the process, whether it be a 14-year-old or 15-year-old Chris, or whether it be a convicted felon, or whether it be a person on probation, you force elected officials to start hearing their voice, hearing their concerns, and that makes for a better society, in my opinion. If you look, and we've been in some of these rooms, Chris, elected officials, whether from the governor's office all the way down to school board, they look at voting data. They look and see where the votes are in the precincts. And we all know that West Gray or what's the big polling station out there in the county? Those guys are at the top of the voting block every election. And I guarantee you those communities, those areas can get whatever they want from elected officials because they have the votes. A little small precinct in 5th Ward that only 15 people vote in, they can't get anything from city council. They can call every day and say, hey, we need this over here. Hey, we need more police officers patrol. Hey, we need better lighting. Elected officials, unfortunately, go look and see where those votes are. How important are they to them getting reelected? And if they don't have the vote count, then the elected officials going to say, okay, we'll work on it. But if they have those votes, if Montrose area, West Gray area say, hey, we want a park here, in the next 2 weeks, I guarantee you they're going to get approved a park for that area because they want those people to remember them when it's time to vote. So when you shut off certain areas and not allow them to vote or allow them to have a voice in the process, which that's all voting is, you're just having a voice in the process, those people become irrelevant. Those people stop mattering.
So it's like the idea, if you want the jail system to be less disgusting, you want it to be less inhumane, let them have a voice. That's fascinating. And that's actually, there's a kind of a point to that.
So
what do you think, Chris?
Follow me here because it may be kind of crazy.
Okay.
Would you be opposed to having a representative of just the jail system being on council?
Interesting. How would they vote on contracts?
I mean, they could get brought down every Wednesday to make the vote. Because if we're going to have people truly representative of their district.
They do it remotely.
They're sitting there and saying, when they want to talk on a microphone, they got to.
Instead of cell block A or cell block, in District A, District B, you have cell block A, cell block D. I mean, that could be a council member from cell block E.
I think that's funny. But I do think, so we mentioned earlier, there are 3 different candidates. Well, 2 actual candidates and another candidate vying to get on the ballot in District B.
District B.
Mm-hmm.
Alvin Bird, I think it was a drug felony. Cynthia Bailey, I think she had a $14,000 check or something like that. And Willie D, who's not on the ballot but trying to get on. These 3 people are actively trying to run for office. Mm-hmm. And so it's my opinion that even though they've had a problem or committed a felony or misdemeanor in their past, I think that's for the voters to decide, not for the mayor's office or whoever to say, hey, you're not allowed to run for office or represent these people because of your past. Whether they're on probation, whether they are just got out last week from federal penitentiary, if the voters of a particular area decide to elect a horse, a man with 2 heads, a woman with no legs, they should be able to have.
What's wrong with a woman with no legs? I was with you with the horse.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just.
Why are you attacking paraplegics, man?
I'm just trying to make a point. I'm just trying to make a point that whoever the residents of that area want to go down and represent them, it's still a representation form of government. That's their choice. Who are we to say? Who's the mayor's office to say? you're not qualified because of something.
But there's a state law that's in effect, and
Well, there's a lot of laws don't get followed, and it's on both sides of the aisle on that. We got a caller, Sarah in Clear Lake. Are you there, Sarah?
Well, yes, I am.
What? So what?
Are you guys nuts?
Oh,
Sometimes.
Chris is.
Seriously, we're gonna have a separate person just for people in jail.
Call him a liaison. Cell block E liaison.
That was Chris's idea.
You better be joking.
You don't think it's a good idea, Sarah?
Sarah, you don't like that idea?
I think that's crazy.
Well, is that any
nuts.
Is that any more nuts than us giving a whole bunch of a whole bunch of money? The state, excuse me, is it more nuts than how it's set up now, where special interest controls our state legislature and a lot of our government? Is it any more nuts than that? I mean, if we're just talking crazy, is it more crazy than the current system we have?
Okay, but then do we have a special representative for old people and young people and children and
we could add them.
horses? I mean,
Horses.
Let me ask you a question, Sarah.
People with no legs.
The mermaid.
and people with no legs, absolutely.
Let me ask you a question, Sarah. What's better?
Yes.
What's better, to have a current person in prison representing a particular area or the prison, or an elected official that's doing some crazy stuff that's going to end up in prison? What's the difference?
Well, if the guy that's in office gets to go to the prison, does he get to run to represent the prisoners and go do more crazy stuff? I mean,
and we right now our attorney general, Ken Paxton, they're actively trying to prosecute him for stuff that's like it's not out there crazy. It's so, and if we're talking like the appearances, and there's my point is that even though it sounds pretty, it's out there. It's definitely out there.
That's a Chris idea.
So Sarah, you don't like that idea, right?
I don't, and honestly, if you've been convicted of a felony, you sort of lose your voting rights. Not forever, not for everybody.
They changed that
but you
law.
have to earn them back.
But how about if you're in jail for a misdemeanor? If we're really going to talk this out, if you're in jail for a misdemeanor, right? Let's say I don't know,
then you vote by mail from the jail, but you vote in the precinct that you live in.
So okay, if you're in, then you vote for you. You don't need a polling place. You just vote by mail. Aren't we complaining often that
mail fraud,
about mail fraud and all the problems with
just
ballot by mail?
Republicans complain about that.
Well, that's true.
Well, yeah, but that's Democrats.
No,
but
it's a genuine issue.
It's the mail fraud.
It is. No, you're absolutely right.
So when you rather
there's
them doing it in person,
there's a process for the guy that's in for a misdemeanor who hasn't lost his voting rights to be able to vote, and it's vote by mail. But you don't set up a specific polling place and say all of those people are now residents of the town where the jail is.
Well, they aren't residents.
1400 Congress? No, what is it?
They're just able to vote in the jail
somewhere
system.
off of
Baker
St.
Street.
Jacinta.
Well, you got Sanders Center, you got Baker Street, you have Lubbock Street.
Whose district is that?
I don't know, man. It's going to be District Cell Block E. Whoever.
That's downtown district.
Sarah, what if we made it to where someone that's such as yourself doesn't have to be a prisoner or a jailer to be the representative? Would you be interested in that position?
You go down there, Sarah. You
advocate for them.
You
see
make
what their
your
wants
speech.
are.
I don't mind people having an advocate. I just don't think that you open up voting just willy-nilly all over the place, because then, okay, what about the people that live in the retirement home? Are we going to set up a polling place for them? And somebody,
you should.
They actually they have delivery services that are unofficial and unauthorized. And they're supposed to be cracking down on that, who have been in the past.
It might actually not be a bad idea to have a
they
polling
go
place
by it. And that's
it'd be less corrupt.
I think Dr. Troutman, one of her initiatives was to actually start having more seniors involved, and they were talking about. But I think Stan Sanders started this idea as well about having mobile voting centers for the elderly.
That might not be a bad idea, because I think some of the problems are with the ballot by mail and the paper.
Because they were getting taken advantage of. The older folks at these homes.
Absolutely.
Somebody was going around and saying...
You'll have a person go in there, be real friendly to the senior, and they'll basically help them with their ballot. And let's say, for example, the lady says, "Oh, I love me some Dwight Dwight Boykins. Yeah, I want to vote for Dwight Boykins. She can't see, and the person who's helping her says, "Okay, no problem," and the person circles Demetrius Smith
Or circles,
Yeah.
Sylvester Turner.
Yeah.
That's more likely who would be circling would be Sylvester Turner.
And
not
that's
Demetrius.
happened a lot, and so that's why they changed the law a couple years ago to make it more severe penalty for taking advantage of the older folks in those homes, because you cannot change someone's vote for them. If they indicate they want to vote for someone, you're allowed to have assistance, but you can't change their vote. So I don't know, Sarah. We're gonna need you to stick around and give us some more ideas off air how we can make this a
Think
better
about all
city.
those prisoners will start getting ballot by mails and all that type of stuff, man. That'd be pretty exciting for prisoners. They don't get that type of attention.
But Sarah, what do you think about the idea of actually having a polling place inside of jail? So this was presented by Commissioner's Court this year, or this past week.
Okay, so does everybody who's in the jail get to vote regardless of where they live?
That's what I said is going to be the issue, is if they do it properly, then it could be a good idea. If they do it where everybody votes regardless of whether their status is, then there would be a problem.
We're going to have to talk more about this. Thank you, Sarah, for calling in.
It was fun. You guys have a great weekend.
We're going to be back just in a few. This is Eric Dick on our little show here on AM 950. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Dick Law Firm. Go to my website, dicklawfirm.com. We're going to come back 6 after, and we're going to talk some more trash.